Good morning, students. How you all are? Hope you all are well. In today's class, we are going to start a new chapter from the book Snapshots. Chapter number 2, The Address, written by Marga Minko. So, basically, this chapter is named The Address because in this chapter, our narrator or author Marga Minko. She just reminds of her old address to a house, to the belongings to which she was very much connected. This story is a poignant account. Poignant means causing sadness of a daughter. Here, daughter is Marga Minko, who goes in search of her mother's belonging after the war in Holland. When she finds them, the object evoke memories of her life. However, she decides to leave them all behind and resolves to move on. Students, basically this chapter है ना, the setting of the story or place of the story where it is set in is Holland है ना. Few years back there was a war in the Holland and our narrator was victim the, of that war. So now we will start our chapter. Do you still know me? I asked. Wait. Do you know me? I asked. The woman looked at me searchingly. Searchingly means she was not able to understand who is on the door. She opened the door a chink. Chink means a small opening. I came closer and stood on the step. No, I don't know you. I am Mrs. S. daughter. So here you can see that our narrator, है ना, I is our narrator. She went to the address which she was having. Then she knocked at the door. And when she knocked, a woman came and she was not able to understand that who is on the door. Then she slightly opened the door. That is chink. Okay. And she came closer, but she was not able to understand that. At that time, our narrator, that is I, she introduces herself that she is Mrs. S. daughter. Okay, students. She held her hand on the door as though she wanted to prevent it opening any further. Her face gave absolutely no sign of recognition. She kept staring at me in the silence. So here she, okay, this she is that lady means even we had seen that our narrator, she introduces herself as Mrs. S. daughter, but still the that lady, she was not able to understand anything, and the way she was pretending, what she did, she put her hand on the door. She put her hand on the door because she does not wanted to open it. Okay, any further. She had given no signs that she recognized the narrator as Mrs. S. daughter. She kept staring. Staring मतलब घूरना, and she was silent. Normally अगर कोई किसी को पहचान लेगा तो that they will not be in the silent. Okay, they will just communicate. They will ask whereabout. But this lady, she was very silent and she was not asking anything. Perhaps I was mistaken. I thought perhaps it isn't her. I had seen her only fleetingly. Fleetingly means for a very short period, and that was years ago. It was most probable that I had rung the wrong bell. So here you can see that our narrator. What she is thinking? She is thinking that she is mistaken. She is mistaken and she is in the wrong address. The reason was that she had not seen the owner of that house for a long period, है ना? She had said that she had seen her only once fleetingly. That means for a short period. So narrator is thinking that she is in a wrong address. The woman let go of the door and stepped to the side. She was wearing my mother's green knitted cardigan. Cardigan means a long woolen cloth. Okay. The wooden buttons were rather pale from washing. She saw that I was looking at the cardigan and half hid herself again behind the door. But I knew now that I was right. I was right. As in the first part of this paragraph, we had seen that narrator is thinking that she was in a wrong address. And then what happened? The woman, she stepped to the side. And when she stepped a little side of the door, our narrator, she had seen the green knitted cardigan. This cardigan once belonged to her mother. So now our narrator is sure that she was in the right address. Moreover, when she observed the cardigan more carefully, even she observed that these are the wooden button which was used by her mother, and as the lady was using this cardigan for long time, it had lost his shining because of frequent washings. And at the same time, she means that lady, she understood that our narrator is watching the cardigan. So what she did, she hid herself against the behind the door. So from this paragraph, it is very clear that the lady, she does not wanted that the narrator should understand her. That's why she was saying no. She was saying no words. She was giving no signals that she have recognized the author. Well, you know my mother, I asked. Have you come back? Said the woman. I thought that no one would have come back, only me. So, from this part, you can understand that now that lady, she had understood that this girl or our narrator is S daughter. So what she is asking, have you come back? कि means तुम लोग वापस आ गए हो. And in the next part you can see that no one had come back. This is the answer given by our narrator. She is saying that no one had come back, only me. That means our narrator is saying that her mother had not come back, it's only her who had come back. A door opened and closed in the passage. Behind her, a musty smell emerged. Musty means unpleasant, that nobody likes. So while that woman and our narrator, they were talking, somebody inside the house, they were just door opened and closed in the passage behind her. Behind her means वो जो लेडी थी उस लेडी के पीछे कोई था जिसने कोई अपने पीछे वाले कमरे का जो डोर ओपन किया. एंड व्हेन इट वाज ओपनड अ मस्टी स्मेल emerged. I regret I cannot do anything for you. Here this I is that lady. That lady is saying sorry that I cannot do anything for you. So you can see here that that lady is not ready to give answers, any answers of our narrator's question. Moreover, she is not showing any interest in talking to her. I have come here specially on the train. I wanted to talk to you for a moment. It was not convenient for me now. said the woman. I can't see you another time. So here you can see that I is our narrator. She's saying that she specially came here to meet that woman, that too by the train. And she just wanted to talk to that lady, that for a moment. But that lady, she is little cruel lady, and she's saying that it is not convenient for her. I can't see you another time. So in this way you can see that that lady, she is not at all ready to talk to our narrator. Anyhow, she is giving some excuses that she is busy, she is, it is very, this time is not convenient for her, and so many other things. She nodded and cautiously closed the door, as though no one inside the house should be disturbed. So, only this much the conversation was there. Then, that lady, what she did, she closed the door, and she did this because she wanted that no one इनसाइड द हाउस शुड बी डिस्टर्ब्ड। ऐसा हमने इससे पहले वाले पैराग्राफ में भी देखा था, कोई था जो पीछे से डोर ओपन किया और वो जो ओपन किया था वो बिल्कुल सामने नहीं आ पाया था। सो दिस वॉज दैट वुमेन्स इंटेंशन एंड शी वॉन्टेड दैट नो वन शुड बी डिस्टर्ब्ड इन हर हाउस। I stood where I saw on the step. The curtain in the front of bay window moved. Someone stared at me and would then have asked what I wanted. Oh, nothing, the woman would have said. It was nothing. So, as that woman, she closed the door and moved. But our narrator, she stood there on that same step. Then she watched that behind the window someone was staring at narrator, है ना, and what that person asked what I wanted. I means what our narrator wanted. Then the woman inside said that nothing, it was nothing. So from this paragraph it is very evident that the lady, she does not wanted that the person who is inside the house should know that narrator is on the door, and she want to talk something to our that lady. Okay, I looked at the nameplate again. Darling, it said in black letter on white enamel. Basically, enamel is a glossy substance which is used over the wooden objects and metal objects to prevent rusting or losing of the shining. And on jamb, jamb is a little higher part, the number 46. So means the that lady, she without making any answers to the narrator's question, she moved inside the house. So at that time the narrator, she just looked at the name plate and she said that it was saying darling and number 46. As the chapter itself is named the address, so that address which narrator was thinking, which the narrator was saying, it was number 46, Mrs. Darling. Darling is their family name. As I walked slowly back to the station, I thought about my mother, who had given me the address years ago. I had been in the first half of the war. I was home for a few days, and it struck me immediately that something or other about the room had changed. So now our narrator, she is going to the flashback. She is thinking of those days when there was a war in the Holland, and narrator says that during the first half of the war, means जब war start हुआ, at that time narrator was in the home for few days, and when she observed her home, she understood that the rooms had changed. Okay, now we will see that what were the things that had changed. I missed various things. My mother was surprised I should have noticed so quickly. Then she told me about Mrs. Darling. I had never heard of her, but apparently she was an old acquaintance. Acquaintance means a person you know. Acquaintance of my mother, whom she had not seen for years. She had suddenly turned up and renewed their contacts. Since then, she had come regularly. So in this second part, the narrator, she is saying that, as she says that on the first half of the war she came to the house and she noticed that few things of her house is missing, and when our narrator, she asked that where are those missing things, at that time her mother starts saying that Mrs. Doring, she was one of acquaintance of her mother. She had not seen her for many years, but when it was the war time, she suddenly turned up, renewed her contact, and she started coming regularly. So you can see here that for long time, narrator's mother and Mrs. Doring, they both were not talking to each other, but suddenly she renewed her contact and started visiting narrator's house frequently. So definitely इसके पीछे कुछ छुपा हुआ था. Some bad intention was there. Every time she leaves here, she takes something home with her, said my mother. She took table silver in one go, and then antique plates that hung there. She had trouble lugging those large vases, and I am worried she got a crick. Crick means pain, है ना, दर्द, in her back from the crockery. My mother shook her head pityingly. I would never have dared ask her. She suggested it to me herself. She even insisted. She wanted to save all my nice things. If I have to leave here, we shall lose everything, she says. So, as we had seen that Mrs. Doring, she was not in a good contact with narrator's mother, but suddenly she started to have frequent visit in narrator's house, and her main intention was that she wanted the rich things or expensive things from narrator's house, as she had taken the silver table, then the expensive antique plates, large vases, crockeries, है ना. All those things means whenever Mrs. Doring she comes to narrator's house, वो पूरा एक सूटकेस भरकर सामान लेके जाती थी. And what was the excuse she used to give? She wanted to save all nice things. वो कहती थी क्योंकि ये एक वॉर का टाइम है, तो ऐसा हो सकता है कि तुम ये सारे सामान को खो दोगी, लॉस एवरीथिंग, है ना. तो वो ये कहती थी इफ़ आई विल टेक इट इन माई कस्टडी दिस थिंग्स विल बी सेफ फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम. और ऐसा कहकर धीरे धीरे करके हमारे नरेटर के घर से उसने बहुत सारे सामान को अपने घर में ट्रांसफ़र कर लिया. Have you agreed with her that she would keep everything? I asked, as if that's necessary. My mother cried. It would simply be an insult to talk like that. And think about the risk she's running each time she goes out of our door with a full suitcase or bag. So here you can say that means our narrator is asking that means that she would keep everything safe. She is that lady. That narrator is asking to her mother that well or whether she will take that things properly, whether she will take care of those things. And at that time her mother was crying. That means she was saying means it is not necessary, है ना. And even her mother, that means narrator's mother, Even she was not very much sure that whether this lady, Mrs. Doring, she will have a good custody of those things and what she is going to do with that thing. But anyhow, our narrator's mother, she was not having any other opportunity, any other way to save those things. So she was just giving it those things to Mrs. Doring in hope that someday she will get all those things back, that too in good condition. My mother seemed to notice that I was not entirely convinced. She looked at me reprovingly. It means disapproval, showing disapproval. And after that, we spoke no more about it. So, even when narrator's mother, she explained her that she is giving all those things to Mrs. Doring so that she can, means she can have the those things safely, है ना. And after listening to all those things, our narrator, she was not convinced to this. मीन्स शायद हमारी नरेटर इस बात को बहुत अच्छे से समझती थी कि जो मिसेस डॉरिंग है वो नरेटर की मदर को चीट कर रही है. Meanwhile, I had arrived at the station without having paid much attention to the things on the way. I was walking in a familiar place again for the first time since war, but I did not want to go further than was necessary. I did not want to upset myself with the sight of streets and houses full of memories from a precious time. दिस पैराग्राफ स्टार्ट्स विथ मीन वाइल. ओके, मीन्स हमने देखा कि अभी जो हमारी नरेटर है वो फ्लैशबैक में चली जाती है. शी इज़ रिकॉलिंग द कन्वर्जेशन विथ हर मदर एंड वॉट ऑल थिंग्स हैड हैपेंड इन द फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द वॉर. बट एक्चुअली एट दैट टाइम शी वॉज मूविंग टू द स्टेशन, एंड वो जब स्टेशन की तरफ जा रही थी, शी वॉज नॉट पेइंग मच अटेंशन on the way. She was just thinking about the past memories. She was just thinking about her mother. She was just thinking about those precious things. The reason was that the sight of streets and houses, which was full of memories of precious time, means नरेटर जब भी उस स्ट्रीट की कोई भी हाउसेस को देखती थी तो नरेटर को कुछ ना कुछ पुरानी बातें याद आ जाती थी. नरेटर को बहुत बुरा लगता था. एंड वॉट शी वॉन्टेड, शी डज नॉट वॉन्टेड टू गो फर्दर देन वॉज नेसेसरी. मतलब जो नरेटर है वो बहुत ही समझदार इंसान थी और वो कुछ भी लिमिट को क्रॉस करते हुए नहीं करना चाहती थी. सो दिस वॉज अ रीज़न. शी वॉज जस्ट बिजी इन हर थिंकिंग एंड विदाउट पेइंग मच अटेंशन on the way she went to the station so that she can move back to her house again. So students, I hope this much part you have understood, है ना. If you have any doubt, please ask me, and the next part of this chapter that we will discuss in our next class. Okay students, so thank you.